Episode 39. Let's go. All right, JJ. It's good to have you back again. How you doing today, man?
Good. By sheer fate, somebody I haven't seen in 18 to probably about 18 to 20 years uh, is on the podcast today.
Yeah,
So I'm really excited.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll jump right in with you, Jason. Thanks for being here. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. It's going, it's going pretty good, and I'm really excited to be here and get in and talk to you, Dave, and meet you. It's very nice to meet you,
Thank you.
and JJ. It's amazing to see you again. It's been a long time, brother.
Yeah.
It has been a very long time, and we were just talking about the last time we had seen each other. And man, it's been a long 18 years, I think, is pretty close, 18 to 20 years. And the last time I had seen you, we were living completely different lives, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling me that you guys were quite different back then.
And I was always the wildcat that did a lot of crazy things. And when you want to know the truth, some things haven't changed. But I take that energy and I put it into being a good human being and fighting for good and fighting for God and fighting for righteousness.
That's awesome.
because
That's
because
beautiful, man.
because there is a spiritual battle going on, in my opinion, against light and against dark, against good and against evil. And I am a soldier on the front line, and the thing that I can do is spread everything with my voice. I have an energy to bring, and I want to bring it full circle. And it's all good. It's all light.
That's great. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Before we jump really into that stuff, can you just go back a little bit and just tell us a little bit like where you grew up and just a little bit about yourself and then also about your podcast?
Excuse me. Absolutely. Um, well, I'm Jason, and I want to be one of the realest, most down to earth humans you know. And that's why I'm starting a podcast called J Bob's Journal. And it has to do with what's right in front of me. It's my journals that I started journaling at the beginning. It was a year ago, about right now. Kind of almost scary, you know, but a year ago, right now, and creating TikToks. Been learning just to let me explain why it was a thing of learning here.
Yeah.
So I work in manufacturing, and so what I do is, basically long story short, I had time on my hands. So I stack parts. I do exactly what they asked me to do. I do it what you pay me to do. But also I've spent a lot of that time watching, silly videos and
Right.
watching all the stuff that makes us laugh, because that really enhances your dopamine. It's a dopamine enhancer. So what I wanted to do is figure out everything that I don't know. And that includes a lot. It includes like spiritual energy, learning more about God, learning more about everything that I don't understand, and making music. I actually have 15 songs, a whole album that I made, that it just kind of made itself.
What's the genre?
It's about my life and about God. So the genre is more, it's just music you can feel. So when you say genre, I mean, I make different kinds of, I just do my music to different kinds of beats. Like there's a few that I have in between, like a rock, or like I started with like a vocal version, and then I did like a rock version, like a hard rock version,
Yeah.
and then like a hip hop version, and I still don't know which one I love.
Right.
So just
You don't
every
have
kind of
to
music,
choose any of them. Do them all.
And that's where I'm at. So I'm really just kind of at the point of venture, and I need to put more time and more investment into it. But I also want to look at who's watching this, who knows how to make a little music and help me out, because I got something, and it's not just like, because it all started with me listening to music, going, this is silly. Half of things we listen to, but then listen to the other things, like, this is really good. But then it boils down to that I can do this.
Right.
I can do this. Like this, I can do this. Is it going to be a step-by-step journey? Yes. Am I going to fall along the way? Absolutely. But it's not a failure. It's only a failure if I stop. I'm not going to stop. There is no stopping me because God has my back and has my momentum pushing me forward. So there's a lot we're going to talk about today, and music's a big part of that journey. So if anyone out there knows how to put some music together, you let me know, because I got some beats I've been using. They're by Raini Beats. I'm sorry, you said no names. My bad.
Well, that's okay.
And what we're trying to
We just mean in like a
Yeah,
derogatory, defamatory thing.
so that's something I'm using. It's free beat. He's got free beats off YouTube, and that it all started with me trying to make my own beats. And now that I've made some music, I think I'm ready to go back to making some beats. But to start my journey was using his beats just to kind of help me. And I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us know really what we're doing. You just need to step into it and step into each day knowing you can make a difference and wake up, especially after big things happen in your life. Say, this is the first day of the rest of my life.
So
How can you argue with that? You know,
This is the first day of the rest of my life.
it's awesome.
did your spiritual journey like really begin when you started journaling, or was it
No.
previous to that?
It was previous to that. And it starts years ago with my sister, who lived in Tennessee. And I'd been around her. I hadn't talked to a lot of people about this, but I really want to talk about this because it started with then. It was a couple years ago. It was, I don't even remember how many years ago. But I went down to go see my sister, and she really wasn't the same person that I remember her. And not to say anything bad about my sister, but brother and sister relationships can be one of those things. So she was just extremely nice and kind, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. But also, I had been walking around her house, and we had been staying at their place, going down to see them down there. And I see all these books about God. And I thought it was absolutely silly. It didn't make any sense to me. I was always the one, because I was brought up Catholic. I was brought up, and just, this is my own personal opinion, that I felt like it wasn't for me. I felt like things were shoved down my throat, and we were taught to be this way or you're going to hell.
Right.
That's not what I believe now, and that's not the journey I've been on. So that's where it started. And okay, let's fast forward like 2 months. It was I believe around Thanksgiving time. She invited me. She was in town in Eau Claire, and invited me to go to church. Yeah, and I said, that's funny. Didn't even think about it. Woke up in the morning nice and early, and something told me, you get your butt up and you go to church. It made no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. So then I looked at my wife and I said, hey, let's get up and go to church. And she'd been trying for years to get me to come to God.
Right.
And she just was not feeling that at all. And then 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, she got up, kind of grumpy about it, get in the shower, and she said, start getting ready. So I said, okay. And walking into the church I went that day, I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like I had done so many things wrong in my life that I didn't belong in a place. I didn't belong in God's presence.
So you had basically like an imposter syndrome towards spirituality and
right
religion.
yes, and absolutely. And right when I thought that, I looked up, and it was like he hit me with this just overwhelming energy and love, saying it's okay. Everything in your life is okay. Everything that you've done in your life is okay, and I accept you. And I want you here. I want you to learn about the things that I have to tell you about, because they are important. and it made no sense to me at all.
Right.
I had tears in my eyes. I'll probably get choked up on this episode today. And what that is a man being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important for mental health of anyone out there.
Yes.
So that's really where my journey began. And the more, and it's been leading up to, especially, so this last year has been learning about everything that I don't understand, and especially about God. It really started with God. And I have my first journal here, right in front of us. It was kind of funny. I was reading it, and I was talking about. I listened to. If you've never listened to Stephen Furtick in Elevation, you should give him a listen. You should really give him a listen. I don't care what faith you are; it doesn't matter. What matters is God, because in my opinion, we were all divided up by the devil, by forces eons ago, because we were growing to be something amazing. We were living how we should be living, in peace and unity, in my opinion. Do I know that for a fact? No. It's just something that I feel. There's a lot of things I just feel. I can't put into words the things I feel. So that, in my opinion, what I think in those moments is it's not me. I'm getting messages. I'm getting hints from God, from something else. I don't know what it is, but I always need to be vigilant. Is it good or is it bad? Because the devil will try to sneak one or two in there, and I need to be vigilant. So whenever I get those ideas, I need to think to myself instantly: is this light? Is this dark? Is this good or is this for bad? Is this for my own monetary gain for money, or is this for the collective good of everyone?
Right.
It brings up a good point because, when they say always try to go with your gut instinct, like,
Absolutely, I do.
like,
What's your opinion on that?
I know every time I've gone against and didn't listen to my gut feeling, it has always turned out like never. It's never been good. Like
I was
every
I was
single
hoping
time.
that was what you were going to say, because that's really what I've experienced in my duration of my existence on this life, on this planet, is my gut is going to tell me something, and if I go against that gut instinct of what it is, and I know it's always standing for righteousness, for good, that's what I need to go with. My gut instinct that's going to lead me in the right way. Is that messages from somewhere else, from God, from anything? I don't know. But like you just said, I know that if I don't lean into that.
Since I've been on a spiritual journey, I think I don't know how long, like now, maybe 2 years, like a spiritual journey of like trying to find, who I am, like what my purpose is, instead of like what society's purpose is of me, and what we only know what we've been taught our whole lives. And it's like
Absolutely do.
anything beyond that, it seems to a lot like most people is. I've seen people get angry. I've seen people just be like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" Well, like Google doesn't say that, so like that whole type of thinking, like absolutely black and white thinking. Just there's no other way than.
So when you speak about getting, different signals and signs, so do you believe that it's truly a God or is it a higher power? Because, like, I've always believed in higher powers outside of us, but I don't necessarily believe in, like, one God per se.
In my opinion, I think God is something we can't even fathom. We say he, but I don't think God is a he. It can't be just a he. It can't be just a she. It has to be something that creates life.
Have you ever read this?
I've never read that.
So the Four Agreements, it basically talks a lot about how we create our heaven and hell on earth, and that sort of thinking, like we can be God. We together collectively, but we're divided.
See, that's where I was born and raised like, strict Lutheran. And I don't, whether you're Catholic, Lutheran, that's all just a label. But your relationship with God and Jesus, in my opinion, is just all that matters.
I got
What were you?
I got something. I have a theory of mine that I hold a lot of weight in that I'd like to share if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, I heard this. There's a lot of things I hear, and everyone should come to their own conclusion of everything. But I just want to lay it out for you how I think. And have a theory of what God is. Because again, if I know one thing for certain in this whole universe, brothers and sisters, brothers, I know nothing. In the grass realm of everything, of mass knowledge, I know nothing. So I want to lean into things that I don't know. So, in my opinion,
Sounds like you had a complete ego death.
you need to kill your ego. You need to kill your
Yes.
pride. You need to, because those are things in this world that take us over. We need to kill the love of money. We need to kill the love of
Yup.
money. I want to make money a manifestation of love. I want to have so much flipping money that I can help and change people's lives.
Right.
That's awesome.
I have a we're going to sidetrack for just a minute.
That's what we do.
Freestyle, man.
So I have this. We were talking about messages and visions, right? So I'll give you one. We'll dip in a little bit. I have an e-board I ride around on. A Meepo Hurricane has a switch. I wasn't really a one-wheel guy. I just wasn't sold. It wasn't for me. So I went with a Meepo Hurricane, and I came from a step-down e-board. Dude, like these are like things that I dreamed of when I was a kid.
Right.
Right? Zipping around this thing, and this thing's wicked. Don't get me wrong, this thing will absolutely mess you up if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get to the point. So I'm riding around on this, and the more and more years that we progress in Eau Claire, the more and more homeless people I see, and the more and more people I see struggling. I want to have so much dang money that I can roll up to these peeps and give them some money and inspire them to do something better with them lives. And what else I can do is I want to create programs for these people to go fix their lives. And what do you do when you come to these programs? You don't have to pay. We pay you to come here because money is something that we need to change. We need to make it differently because if I can just have them people see this, that I bring in this money to you. I don't know anything about you. I don't also care.
It'll
I don't
scare
care.
people. Like, because they're going to be like, well, because they're so ingrained and
I want to bring you a care package of food, just things to help you get by, some warm clothes. That's just who I am. That's just a vision I had. Okay.
I get it.
with no intention
With
of.
zero intention.
I'm
I don't need anyone recording to be a white
Yeah.
knight.
Thank you.
I
Thank
do
you.
not
Yes.
need that. I need to bring myself and my energy to this world and be a force of good. As Gandhi said, I want to be the change I want to see in this world.
Right.
So I'm going to live every day knowing that I can make a change.
I'm actually doing one of my finals for school on Eau Claire and how they can't handle their homelessness issues.
Eau Claire, in my opinion, they've completely failed in so many ways that.
The homeless, yes.
Money
Well,
over
no, they're just
it's a problem with so many things, not just that.
Well, right,
the
of course.
hospitals.
Corporations, the big pharma, everything. It's not. It's money over morals.
Right.
I will
we
never,
just had
ever,
that.
ever, ever choose money over my morals and treating you as a person ever in my life. You can offer me, I don't care what sum of money, I will never change who I am and my morals to conform to the way you want me to be. I am who I am.
Well, right, and I don't know if you've seen the TikTok videos of people talking about when that CEO was shot. The rest of them continued to step over his body to go up to their meeting
And
because that's how important they.
I'm glad that's brought up because
those are just, of course, they could be clear just rumors going around TikTok, but
No, this
when it comes to be that important, their bottom line, they're gonna get it done.
I've been
So,
affected personally by that very guy, because all insurance is connected nowadays, pretty much. I found myself for a little bit being like, wow, he got what he deserved, and then just that negative,
I understand your
terrible
mindset.
type of thinking that I've tried to get away from
Can I-
because of, and now I feel guilty for even, because, like it says in the Bible, you were supposed to love our enemies.
My honest opinion is there's much more, much more behind that,
oh, of course.
and we'll never get the real truth, because if you and I know anything, the media doesn't tell us the true
Well,
story.
right.
It's all a
It is
directive. It's all
100.
But he had, delay and deny written on the casings, so that kind of tells.
why is the
story.
Statue of Liberty chained?
Oh yeah, that's of course.
That you want some symbolism.
Most people
There's
don't
some
even realize it.
There's some symbolism right there. Why is the Statue
course.
of Liberty chained?
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to keep you chained.
Yeah.
They're trying to erase history.
They're trying to change history. They're trying to do things.
Well, they're erasing the history they don't like. Anything that doesn't fit what they're trying.
No, it
to.
gets even worse than that. Like, have you seen the books that they've tried to ban? Like the books that we grew up with, the books that, like, honestly, in my opinion, I'm a better person today because of, like, the book The Giving Tree. That was always my favorite book when I was a kid. They tried banning that book. So did we go from burning books to,
Just banning them.
because if you burn a book today, that would do nothing.
Well, right. Back then, if you burn books, you could keep
Yeah.
people uneducated for a long time.
Now
Because-
it's with the internet and everything, you just got to ban it.
Because the real truth of everything that I think is real true knowledge, esoteric knowledge, that's something I've been learning too, about like knowledge they want to keep hidden and they want to keep secret, because that's how they have their money and their power. They need money because they need power. They seek the power more than the money, but they need the money to equal the power.
And there's so much money out there just so much money that there
they
should
take
never.
they take from us hardworking people who should be.
Yeah.
We
but-
work hard for our money. We should be getting more of it,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't be getting crapped on every day for trying to make a change for the better in the corporate lives that we live in. That's my own personal experience. That's a whole nother wormhole.
My girlfriend is a great example of how the middle class constantly finds themselves getting screwed over. She's an LPN, and what she tells me she brings home is, it's almost criminal that she's bringing home that small amount when she makes what she makes. So I see it all the time in my own household.
But they can give. There's. We're not going to go down certain wormholes, but
Well,
there's,
right.
there's so many things that were lied about, that were put a veil of lies over our face, so we can't actually see the truth. We see bits of the truth.
People also like to deny. They live in a denial state and they think it's not happening too. They don't want to believe.
Well, no, and people will literally, in their own mind, like, run with that, and, like,
Right.
you know who I don't think are very good people? Are people who go around constantly saying that they're good people.
Of course.
Like,
'Cause they have to tell you.
You
They're trying to
should never
remind
have
you.
to enforce that you are a good person. Are you actually portraying good energy and portraying good things and traits into the world? Are you doing that?
Dude, it's just like my sister constantly saying she's for family, but she's the only one never around. She's the only one that's causing strife in the family, but she's the one always saying she's for family. Like, that's a great example right there.
In my opinion, there's so much
social media.
there's so much narcissism in the world that nobody wants to take accountability to fix themselves.
I don't even use that word anymore because that word has been. It seems like that you can't even turn on your phone without something
along,
talking about narcissism, and then now it's just like,
well, we live in a pretty heavily narcissistic society.
no, but I mean, like, it's actually like it's a mental illness. So just being a selfish, evil, like, sociopathic,
You should just be a brat.
We've
Well,
got too much of that in the world, and a lot of
ego.
that I think boils down exactly to ego,
There's
pride,
good ego and
ego,
there's bad
pride,
ego.
and there's money. You want, in my opinion, the first step of your journey to bettering yourself and the world is conquer your mind. If you conquer
yeah.
if you can conquer your mind, you can conquer the reality around you. Because the honest opinion is, I can do anything.
But
I can do most anything with God at my back, pushing me forward, telling me, you got this.
the thing is, though, most people need that cell phone distraction because they can't live with what's up here.
They can't live without what's up there because we watch a lot of blue light.
Yeah,
That
is
yeah,
bad.
you want to
bad.
okay, you want blue light, some research. Okay, I am going to drop a name, John Cruise. Look up John Cruise and you will never probably you might not ever be the same. I'm definitely not quite the same after listening to the things
It destroys your brain.
he has to say. It blue light boils down to what they started doing at MK Ultra. And MK Ultra was a government program that actually started originally from the Nazis. This was a brain mind washing program that started, and our government started doing that. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can.
The government at
started-
the time.
They started developing LCD screens. Why? They want blue screens everywhere.
They have them on
Why?
street lights. They got them just about everywhere nowadays.
Without going down a super huge rabbit hole, that's just a whole nother conversation. They actually, I forget the dates. This was like 50s, I believe, 40s or 50s. They implanted an implant into a bull's head to have him stop from goring someone or something. You know, I don't know.
Sorry, have you watched George Orwell?
No.
Okay, he predicted all this in 1949.
We're all part of an agenda. We're all part of an agenda. They want it, the blue lights. They want to control us, and it has to do with the story I was talking about. I got this for my birthday. I got this for my birthday probably 4 or 5 years ago from my family. I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me.
You just literally read my mind. I was just thinking that through God, all things are possible. You know.
So when I say I can do anything, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not to do anything, because you can do bad, but I'm not doing bad. I'm doing good. And God's behind me, and he's going to help me do whatever I'm doing. So we're going to try and get the story out before the cameras die again. So
They're not gonna.
that's okay. So they implanted this bull with a device to stop him from goring someone or something. So after that was successful, this was successful. They wanted to see if they could do it wirelessly. Turns out you can. How? Do you want to know how?
Sure.
Blue light,
Yeah,
lights.
makes sense.
Everything we
Bluetooth.
look at is light. Bluetooth, 5G. They're putting frequency in our universe and in our things that are changing our thought patterns. This is just my opinion. You can do your own research because we all have free will. You shouldn't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything I say. Do your own research.
We talk about that all the time on here. Do your research.
Do not believe me.
That's my catchphrase, actually.
Don't believe me. I don't care. I don't care. I'm at the point in my life I don't care if you believe
Well,
me.
no, technology has a huge impact on our lives, and people need to realize it more. It's hard to accept, and a lot of people, you give your kids tablets young, phones young, and stuff, but it's impacting people earlier than you think. So,
AI, I don't know. I hope it's not something that's going to be evil. 'Cause
that's hard to say, though.
I
No,
mean,
dude, if we want to talk about AI and quantum computing and like a lot of these things tie together because AI, quantum computing,
is your
there's
rabbit okay?
there are things that happen at quantum Quantum being so small your brain can't comprehend. Like so small, things do what they shouldn't do.
I'm
And
almost thinking like, is there like a poltergeist level going on here?
I don't
Has
know.
that ever happened, Dave?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing? What fell?
Fan, that's never happened. No.
Okay.
So there's probably some forces in here,
No, yeah.
and that's okay
Just no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
because God has got me. And
I can
we're
feel
gonna get into
the-
we're gonna get into what I really want to talk about. That's
It's getting really, really cold in here too.
That's because I closed that door. I opened it now.
okay. So
Flies everywhere.
before I forget, we're gonna circle back to what I think of God.
Sure.
This is my theory about God. In the beginning, God was nothing. There was nothing. So God wanted to experience life. He wanted to experience every form of everything. So God divided himself into infinite number of pieces. So in that aspect, God is everything. God is experiencing everything in every form. So if you think about that, everything is God. But not only that, we are all part of one divine universal consciousness. We are all one. If you can get us all united as one, and we can come up with not just one, but collective thought, collective love, collective
That sounds
Changing
like
the
you know
world,
whose
we-
biggest fear.
we can oh, I'm gonna make some people mad because
Oh, yeah.
I have energy and I have influence. The one thing I can do is be a soldier on the front
Right.
line with my voice. I don't need a pitchfork. Don't get your pitchforks or guns. Get your voice. Say what is wrong and don't be afraid to say what is wrong. Oh, they're going to fire me for it. Who cares?
Exactly.
Oh, they're going to do this. Who cares? I'm at the point in my life I don't care.
People are so silenced by those type of fears.
So
That's awesome, man.
to continue with it, so in that aspect, God is everything, and we are all part of one divine universal consciousness. So if you ever listened to any NDEs, near death experiences,
Yep.
where people coming back. So one common thing, there's so many that
They
it's
all have the same
fascinating
stories,
to
too.
me is we have a life review and we review what we did right and what we did wrong, but not from like what we're taught from a church perspective, like you're going to hell. God's not mad. God doesn't hate us. God just gets disappointed.
Just
Right.
like
We're
any
not
father
that
would.
that like any if we're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. You just get disappointed. So, in my opinion, Earth is a school. We are here to learn. We are here to love. Love is the most important, powerful thing in the whole universe. Is love.
Connection. 100%.
Because it ties back to what I was just saying. We are all part of one universal consciousness. We are all part of God. So people talk about when they see God, they know it's God when they meet him. I say him, but God's not a him. God's
Yeah.
something we can't fathom. So
Right.
they say God is a white light, the brightest light you will ever see. To fight any darkness, what would you want? You would want pure white light. And in the aspect of what I was just saying, God divided himself in everything. He could have no form of solidity. All that's left is energy. God is energy.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
The God particle. Have you heard of? Yeah.
Heard of the God particle? Yes, but we're all energy. There's
Where life
things
started.
in us that they can't explain. There's so many things in our life that can't be explained by faith, by science. What we need to do
DNA,
is try
all
and
of it.
match the two, faith and science. People say, "Oh, you're a Christian." I am a Christian, but I am a spiritual Christian. I believe there are spiritual forces in this world that they don't want us to know about.
I
I
haven't
do
heard
too,
you.
for
What's
sure.
your take on Jesus?
My take on Jesus is Jesus was real. I think things have been construed. This is my opinion. I'm not speaking for anyone. We know that the government and most of our lives are a lie, in my opinion, and we've been force-fed lies our whole life. Who's to say religion isn't there? There's a base that God is real, Jesus is real. Yeshua. Let me say Yeshua. Yeshua, not Jesus. Jesus was something recreated by, in my opinion, a man trying to get you to to control you. They want to control you. They want to control every form of your life. So if they can control what you really truly believe in, your faith and your religion, dude, that's so messed up. But that's really, in my opinion, what has happened. Yeshua was real. And there are parts of the Bible, most of the Bible is absolutely true, but there are parts that are just a little off to me. To me. I'm not saying don't believe the things. Absolutely do your own research. Do your
Read
own
the-
research.
Right.
I'm tired, of people that have never read the Bible or learned anything about it, but they get so angry about it. Like, I'm not even.
People get angry
telling
about
them.
But
People-
I think that's fear,
People get angry about what they don't understand.
right?
Yeah.
And what I've learned is instead of running away from what's chasing me and what I'm afraid of, I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna say, "What's up?" Because what's chasing you might not be a demon. It might be God that's been chasing you your whole life,
Right.
and you're just afraid to face the demons that you've created in your own mind.
100%.
Oh,
That's where fear holds a lot of things back.
people don't realize is how many different demons there are for, like, depression, addiction, the
So-
7 deadly sins, like fear,
You know-
greed, lust.
With you saying that, something that, like, with the whole connection thing,
The
I've
opposite of
noticed.
addiction.
Well, right, but I've noticed with you, over the past 4 or 5 months, you've been struggling more with your mental health since you don't have, you don't have the groups and the counseling, and we haven't been doing as many episodes because I'm so busy with school. And the happiest I've seen you is when you are connecting with others and talking about these things in groups and, doing the episodes, having a counselor.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you, talk about that a little bit? Because I know you're struggling with that.
I'm kind of, and I'm glad you brought this up, man. I think I remember it's been since July, and I literally have been having like a midlife crisis.
And every time it seems like you get a counselor set up or something, the insurance takes it away or something. You're getting 2-3 sessions and getting kicked right out.
I'm definitely, for reasons, in my opinion, and other people that know that have been through it are they're trying to break me in every which way to just be another statistic.
Right. That's why I think it's important to get to groups and do these episodes because that's when I see you the happiest.
Yeah. But this is the biggest thing too, is I hid my pain so long, like for so many years, that like I even fooled myself. I'm known as the one who
You isolate.
Yeah. Like I'm known as the one who's, always like.
That's where I think if you really believe in a higher power, when you're isolating like that, you have, your spirituality to fall onto, though, to keep you going forward.
It's also, though, when, in my opinion, like, that's when, the ruminating thoughts, the past trauma, everything I've been through, but, the demons, that's when they just go ham.
The truth is, none of us have it figured out.
Of course.
You can look at somebody thinking, dude, they have it figured out. Everything in their life is gold, and you're seeing a side.
Yeah.
You're seeing a beautiful apple, and on the other side, it might be eaten to the core. You're not seeing the whole picture. Everyone's hurting, and it's okay to talk about mental health. So, and I want you to know, brother,
Yeah.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
always a phone call away for anyone who's struggling, and it takes a lot to talk about what's truly inside of a person and be vulnerable in front of people. To anyone out there struggling with mental health addictions, with letting people in, it's okay. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to be in pain. If I can't get you out of a dark pit that you're stuck in, I'll climb in there with you. I'll give you a big fat hug and tell you it's okay and I love you. There's always a better way. There's always a better way. Because we talked about NDEs and things, that Earth is a school.
Powerful stuff, man. That's what you meant.
Let people in. Let people in, man. It's okay, man. It's okay. I can't know everything about everyone, and nor do I need to. Nor do I need to know if you screwed up along the way. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
That's
What matters is know that somebody out there loves you. There are people out there that love you. There's so many people that would come to your side and save you from making a stupid decision that you can't take back.
yeah.
There's so many people who will just sit with you. You don't even have to say anything. They'll just sit and give you a hug. They'll just sit and be
Yeah.
in your presence. They'll be in your presence. You don't have to say a word.
I've
Just
tried,
say I don't even need to say a word. I just need
tried to talk to people about that stuff before. Is you don't always have to talk. You know, if someone wants you around, you can just chill and just have someone to be there. You know, a lot of people think you have to talk and this, but if you actually care about somebody, just being around, a physical presence sometimes is all people need. Sometimes a strong silent presence is more powerful than words.
absolutely.
I learned
Because
that when I was a CNA.
You're showing that you care. You're showing they're showing up for you. So when people feel lost in this world, just know people will show up for you. People will show up for you because I'd rather show up for you in your time of need than show up to your funeral.
Right?
Yes.
I
and
will
that's
show
exactly,
I will show up for you. I will leave everything I'm doing. I will leave work. I will leave
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing to save somebody's life.
Right.
And that is so priceless and rare nowadays. Like
I
it's
care about
beautiful,
people.
man.
Oh yeah,
care about
people have so
people.
much going on they can't pull away for 2 minutes. Like,
Because we're again, everything circles back to everything we're talking about. Blue light, mind control. We're all in distress and chaotic. My next question is, how much do we use technology? Again, we're using technology right now, but
Oh,
we're trying
all
to
the time.
we're trying to use it for good.
To the point it's causing carpal tunnel, T-Rex arms. Like it's causing.
They don't want to heal us.
Yeah.
They don't want us to know about things that can heal our bodies. Like we can get into medical stuff because there's
Bro,
re-
now
there's
you're talking my.
Here we go. Here we go. So
Yeah.
there's things we can do every day,
yeah.
not just mental health wise, but physical health wise, because there's so many things that we haven't been told.
Oxygen.
I think
Oxygen, huge. Hold on. Oxygen's huge, but like our bodies are basically a battery. We're basically kind of like a battery. So especially when you're grounding with your feet, with your shoes off, and especially in the morning, you're getting that morning sun. You're getting that red light. There's the natural red light because there's a natural blue light and a red light, and it's
Your body.
it's equally the best. Sum it up. It's the best in the morning. So what I've found is. I have a whole routine. I'll just share it with you, and I'd like to share yours with me. So my ultimate day right now, I get up really like 3:30 for work, because the corporate life. But I'm trying to get out of that. So I would rather get up and just like experience, take my time. So what I do, either way, what I do to start my day is at the end of my shower, turn that SOB as cold as she goes,
Yep.
and sit there as long as you can. It doesn't need to be a super long time. And because of what that
2 minutes
there's so many things happening inside your body. Because one of the biggest things is you're giving your body vasospasms. And I'm no doctor, I'm no physician, I know nothing. I just know I'm an experiment.
right.
What do things do to my body? So if I pay enough attention every day to what things do to me, whether it's things I eat, the nutrients, if you pay enough attention every day, you can really start to figure your things out and what works for you. So I'll take the cold shower at the end of the day because you're starting vasospasm. So all the blood that's sitting dormant in your skin. So what happens during vasospasms is your heart and your mind, they go into shock because they don't know you're just taking a cold shower. They think you're dying. So what they do is they take all the dormant blood and they rush it to your heart and your head. So all this dormant blood that's been sitting here is rushing through your whole body, and you're stimulating that. It's not just.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Gary Brecka?
Yeah.
I think so.
Gary Brecka is amazing. So,
It reboots your dopamine too.
and there's things I don't know that I want to learn too. I don't
So,
claim to know.
I was
everything.
actually going to ask you that. Are there any like specific practices, people, philosophies that you follow or that you believe in right now that are going to like help you with your goals and move forward the way you're like with the thinking?
Absolutely, and I'm going to share some of them, and that's kind of where we're going right now.
Okay.
So what that is, I take the cold shower, get your blood moving. You're doing vasospasms. If you sit in there long enough, you will actually start to secrete brown fat protein from your kidneys, and it starts it boosts your I don't don't quote me for everything, but your red cell count, and it helps repair your body. Long story short, it helps repair your body. So those are just some of the things. There's even
And
more.
this is scientific
And this
facts,
these
too.
are absolutely scientific facts, because the thing that turned me on to Gary Brecka, if you ever heard his, let me tell you his backstory, and it's fascinating. So Gary Brecka worked in the insurance claims industry for over 20 years. He was a mortality expert. Dude could tell you within a week when you die, sometimes, or within a month, sometimes a week when you die. Do you think he knows the little things about the human body? So Gary Brecka decided to take all this dark knowledge and use it for good knowledge, and say, hey, instead of just seeing these things happen and get paid for it, we're going to change what is.
Right.
And we're in the problem with the pharmaceutical industries and a lot of things that are happening, and like what we're taking are inhibitors. Why are we inhibiting things that we should be replenishing?
They don't want to cure
Here,
anything.
here,
Yeah.
we'll just talk about a simple one. And
You're making me so proud, man.
I'm not quoting anything right now. And again, I'm no doctor, I'm no physician, but
Just carrying the message.
these things really do help people when they're at their lowest. But in my opinion, like, we have a mental health crisis, as we were just talking
nuclear
about.
epidemic.
So what do they prescribe you? An SSRI. Do you know what an SSRI?
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor.
Bingo. So basically, what it is your serotonin is low. You have low serotonin levels. So what's the logical thing to do? Raise the serotonin levels to make them so are evenly out, and it has to do with serotonin, dopamine.
Norepinephrine.
There's so many things,
Oxytocin.
and there's so many things. I lost my train of thought a little bit. So many things to help our body to do good.
We were talking about Gary Brecka, the SSRIs.
Yeah. Okay. So my apologies.
No, you're good, man.
ADHD.
I got
Look,
ADHD.
Hey, look, a butterfly. So,
Yeah, squirrel.
squirrel. So
Hey, that rabbit, bro. How's your rabbit doing over there?
SSRI. So they prescribe you an SSRI. So it makes sense to, it just
Which is
logically
synthetic.
makes sense to up your serotonin levels to get them where they need to be, because that's what depression and anxiety are. They're low serotonin levels. So what do they give you? An SSRI, which takes your low serotonin levels and puts it on like an IV drip. So that's why when people take SSRIs,
It's got a black box warning, too.
especially over time, they notice, well, I don't like it because I feel like a zombie. Well, no shit. You ain't got any dopamine going. So when you're in between the drips of the dopamine, you feel like nothing matters. That's not a way to live. And I only experienced a little bit, and I took some things myself because I had anxiety and some depression, and I still do. We all do. We all have that, whether we say it or not. We all have that.
It's just some people have
It's how
it more
big.
than
How
others.
big are you going to
Yeah.
make this mound? Are you going to make this a small mound, or are you going to make it a giant mountain? So we all have these things. So if we just replenish the serotonin levels,
And dopamine.
that's just and the dopamine.
Dopamine's
and,
actually more important.
and it's funny because the blue screens we're watching and all these things, they're I was talking about MK Ultra and mind control. These are all dumbing us down. They're depleting. Where is it?
I think
They are depleting our dopamine levels. They're shoot.
and the lack of nutrients.
Right.
Like
There's so much stuff in here, and this is just from this week.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that
These are just notes you're taking, like
these are
stuff
things.
that you're.
Okay, so
that you're thinking of,
No, well,
and you just write
yes.
it down.
yes and no.
It's very smart.
I listen to a lot of YouTube, and I pay for the service now. Spent so long, and hey,
Yeah.
it's
I don't mean to
commercial.
interrupt you, but Gary Brecka is the reason why your average B12 and all that is got cyanide in it.
Cyanocobalamin.
Yep. Literally
Cyanocobal-
cyanide.
Cyanocobalamin is a man-made derivative of cyanide. My question is, why the f is it on our food?
No shit.
It's I don't care what it is. Get it
It's
out of my
in
food. So
vitamins.
that's why I'm on a journey. I'm on a health journey of eating
Methylated.
all organic that you can, and the gluten free. They make fun of gluten and say, oh, it's a bunch of. what gluten is.
gluten-free, man.
Gluten
Learn that from
is a
them.
wheat glue. Just like I eat organic meat, the best I can't be perfect, but I can do the things that I can do. So
grass-fed meat.
what the wife and I have noticed is over the years that we eat normal store bought meat. We try and get even the better, the 96, the lean. It don't matter because the truth is though that's a lot of cows messed up in one, and they're using meat glue. It's the same concept.
That shit's
in
very
my
toxic.
opinion, it's kind of the same concept of the gluten, the wheat glue. It's
It's
a glue.
illegal
It's a-
in all countries
Why-
except for America.
Why does America have so many things that they let fly that other countries are like, nope? Why? Because America cares about money over people. Money over people. Money
For
over
sure, it's been clear for many years
No,
that that's the case.
The meat glue it's in every, like when you get a steak in even like a 5-star restaurant, they use it.
That's disgusting.
Why is it that we can have a McDonald's Happy Meal from 14 years ago still preserved and looks
Yeah.
the exact same? Why does nature not touch that? Because nature knows better. Nature
Oh,
knows
my
those are chemicals that people are trying to put in their body.
My
What's your
grandpa's
take on
dog.
cancer?
My grandpa's dog
get there
would
in just a
take
second.
would carry the McDonald's bag to his semi truck, but then he wouldn't eat the meat. So that shows you right there. The dog won't eat the meat.
Like there's
No, like
we don't live the same lives that we lived when we were kids even.
we're not supposed
it's-
to eat every day either.
And I think people use food and use technology and use things to cover up the fact that they are running from things that they need to fix in themselves. This is just my opinion. And,
Oh,
and
food is a comfort.
They're demons that they don't want to take accountability for what they have in their life and where they are and what they can do to improve their lives. At the end of the day, I look at my life and I say, what am I doing wrong with my life that I know is wrong that I can fix today?
Right.
And acknowledging that is step one. Step two is just starting the littlest grain of sand step towards moving.
I've been
Towards
talking
that
to
goal.
you about that since beginning of fall. Like we have to be 100% honest with ourselves before we can make a difference.
You have to be honest with yourself before you can be honest with anyone else.
Exactly.
And-
Or hold other people accountable.
This
Bingo.
is the biggest thing too is how so many people like will not take anything into consideration, like the absolute obstacles, you know what I mean? And then they'll say like just the most like hurtful shit, like, and they don't even realize it, and it's only to make themselves feel better.
Of course.
Because in my opinion, what I've noticed is I have a lot in psychology
loves
because
company.
psychology is, if you can, like I said earlier, if you can conquer your mind, you can conquer the reality around you, and you can conquer the way that you perceive yourself to people. You do not have to react to everything in your world. The world that we live in, everyone wants you to react.
Yeah.
I can pause and I can respond. I can
Right.
pause and I can respond. I can change the R.
Like one thing with me is like I don't use food and stuff as a comfort, but I sometimes like if I'm, feeling, not right or down or whatever, I will turn to like older like feel good sitcoms, like the stuff we watch as kids like Boy Meets World or
Something that reminds you
that
of
70s show
of a better
or
time in your life, or it just takes you to that moment. What I find kind of going where you're going, especially in those moments, if you can just pull yourself into like a different moment. And what I mean by that is like,
well, yeah, because
sounds,
that's just distraction.
sounds, smells can take you places.
Oh, for sure.
Music,
Even fast and music. So for me, like when
90s music.
I got a confession.
Yeah.
And this one always holds true the most to me, and I couldn't tell you why. So when I was like 15, getting ready to go hunting, out in there, I would always, that was apparently a time I was on to Tupac. And I remember, so every time I hear Tupac now, I think of that time
Right.
in my life. So there's just an example, or like when you get a smell and you just instantly takes you to that moment in time. That is
Skull Mint.
that is fascinating
That's
to
my
me.
hunting thing.
So one thing I tried to do, like, so they say smells will take you places, right? So next time you go on vacation, I want you to do something. Like you're going somewhere and you want to remember it. I want you to go pick out a very unique, distinct smelling cologne.
Yeah,
and wear it on that trip only.
Tommy T.
that's cool.
But it has to be not your normal, just
Yeah,
something different.
Gotta be different.
But it has to be something you like.
Yeah.
So that way, when
That
you get
polo
and you
cologne.
wear it the whole time on the vacation. So that way, 6 months on the road when you're just like having one of those days, you just need a friendly reminder of how good that was.
Yeah.
Or like the memories you made, just spray that on. And you can't do it all the time because you're going to ruin it.
Exactly. That's what people have to realize.
That's what you have to remember.
It has to be once in a while.
Is we all need moderation of everything in our lives, and that's it. Moderation. We have to learn control. If you can learn control and discipline.
I was actually thinking about that this morning. Like, it's okay when I was working on some schoolwork early this morning. I was like, because I was starting to think about like being young and not having stuff to worry about. And I was like, it's okay to reminisce on the old days and early times, but it's something that you can do once in a while. If you start doing it every day, then you got a problem. You're not living in your real reality of your life. I'm actually expecting my first kid in 3 weeks.
That's
So
cool.
I have that coming up too, and we're preparing for that. And so
we could have a whole
it's
discussion.
easy,
about...
to be like, man, so many responsibilities coming up, but it's also good stuff, positive stuff. So
I'm so excited for you, man.
Thanks,
because
Dude,
the
I'm
things
excited, yeah.
because the things that are coming that you don't even know about are gonna change you so much as a person.
for sure.
And where you are right now, just from meeting you, I can see you're on a growth journey, and having a kid is gonna teach you things that nobody else could say to you.
Right.
There are things that I learned about being a parent that I couldn't explain to somebody. I can't put it into
Very young.
words.
We were still in high school when he had his first child.
I was 17 when I had my daughter, and I can tell you, you want to change in perspective on life. I was the guy who was going to go into the military at boot camp at 17, be the full-fledged, and
Right.
dude, I'd fucking died because I wouldn't have cared about myself more than I cared about saving my friends.
Yeah.
And I know that about myself. There's certain things you learn about yourself over time, and that's one of them. So the truth is, I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. I was 17-year-old. I was a junior in high school. That's a smash to you, trying to be a kid and party it up and live it up, which I still did plenty of that. And I look back knowing there's time that I can't get back when my daughter was young and really young, that I look back now and realize what an idiot I was for not taking that time, those precious moments. Man,
That's a big reason
I just
why I
remember
wanted to wait.
It's
until I
hard to
was
get caught
older.
up in but I remember, there was no question in my mind. Like, dude, you loved your daughter.
definitely. I always and that has to do with how I was raised.
Your
I was-
father,
I
from
was-
what I remember, is he was kind of pretty what do they call it, a type A
Stern.
personality.
Stern. And my father has really created me into who I am. Mixed with my mom is really, and when you mix those and you really see who you came from and who you are now,
Mm-hmm.
it's really amazing to take the things that you were taught when you were just a kid and realize and think about when you were a kid, when I'm a parent, I'm going to do this better. And then you also realize, dude, you don't have a fucking clue. You don't have a clue what you're doing. All of us as parents, all you parents out there that don't think you know what you're doing, none of us know what the heck we're doing. We just try to do the best that we're doing, and with God, light, and love, doing the best and teaching the best to my kids that I can.
So, even with something like that, why do you think that people carry fear when it comes to thinking about things like outside of themselves and deeper meanings and higher powers?
Judgment, I think, is the biggest scare that most people have nowadays.
You want to talk about fear? Let's talk about fear.
Well, I'm just saying when it comes to thinking about, different types of thinking, like why, I'm just, what's
And
your...
it has to do exactly with that. So fear, I actually wrote a song called Fear. And it's an acronym. I hope you heard. If you haven't heard, you should get to know it. False evidence appearing real.
Nice.
Yeah.
So much fear is just created in your head. You
Right.
create a prison for yourself. You create this box that you decide to stay in too, because you know you know the routine of this. You know, like you could do better, but you also are just stuck by what's comfortable.
Right.
And you can see that in so many people's lives.
So is that why it's important for you to like that you want to change people's perspectives?
Absolutely.
As I seen in one of your videos, you were talking about it, like you really wanted to change perspectives.
I have a song called Perspective too.
Right.
Like all my ideas are put into songs too, and that's the cool thing about it is I made these songs, but they really made themselves. They really
Of
did.
course, right.
And
Yeah.
any true artist will tell you these
Makes
songs
sense.
make themselves.
Yeah.
And like I was going back to is I can portray things of the world about being better and getting over the fear. So false evidence appearing real, we create these scenarios. So what I've been trying to do on this journey is just say, forget that. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't even care what my brain thinks, because your brain is the biggest liar to you in your life.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
brain is going to tell you things that aren't true. Just like, okay,
Our subconscious, this is why I tell people, like, when somebody says, oh, I'm just an idiot for doing that, I tell them, don't say that. Like, don't ever call yourself or think that, because your subconscious will literally run with that.
I'm going to tie into that. You should be giving yourself positive affirmations every day.
Mm-hmm. Like right when you
And
wake up.
I definitely can tell you I've been slacking. Do you want to hear mine? You want to hear my
Absolutely.
affirmation?
Sure.
I try and say it 3 times a day. I definitely been slacking. So here it is. And this is from an ancient one I learned. I banish every trace of ill health from my body, affirming that I am made in the image of God, perfect and whole. I am a channel of divine harmony and health. Every cell of my body is filled with light and life. I am radiating vibrant health, peace, and joy to every cell of my body. And then the parts that I added. I am easily and abundantly acquiring wealth and influence for the glory and goodness of God. I'm made on purpose for a purpose. So I'm not nervous because I have purpose. That's mine.
That's
I
awesome.
really like the
That's
last part
good,
there,
man.
because
Most people wouldn't take it that far.
people don't realize is just being born is. Look that up again. It's
Your chances of being born are.
Oh, it's
are,
1 in trillions, yeah.
no,
Dude.
it's like 40 trillion or something like that.
4
Like,
trillion, I think it was.
It's so.
But it's
like,
crazy number. It's a crazy number.
Like, yeah,
So what hurts me is seeing my friends hurting, but also people who just, not only that, but people who just waste their life being stuck
Yeah.
in their low state and just letting their life go, when there's people out there who would give anything to just have a life, to just have a normal
Well,
life.
it's like I've told JJ, we were talking about this the other day too. Like your bad day is somebody else's good day. You know what I mean? So we're all in different spaces,
Like right now, I'm living the life that I only dreamed of one day.
right?
I have a house, I'm married, I have kids, I have my dogs, I have a loving, wonderful family. These are only things I dreamed of. And yet, we still have feelings that we're not where we want to be. But I know I'm going to get there.
Oh, for sure.
I know I'm going to get there. And it's something I can't explain to other people. Like,
No, I get
when
it.
you just know something, it's like when you just know something. Well, I know this.
Because that's how I feel about myself too, with where I'm trying to get. Like I don't freak out too much. I mean, I got stresses and stuff I got to get done, but I know where I'm gonna be, in a year from now or 2 years from now. Like as long as something crazy doesn't happen to me, but as long as I stay on my path,
don't even.
I
that
know
right
where
there.
I'm saying though,
That's
like
how serious I am about. I am beyond superstitious, and like anything that you say or give energy to, gives it power, in my opinion.
Have you guys
Well,
ever...
Like,
if
no.
you say you're gonna see a deer, maybe, but stuff like that I believe in. But like,
Have you? So this is going to tie into manifesting reality and creating your own reality. Because like I got a lot more to say, and It's okay. It's okay. Absolutely, because the thing is I want you to come back. I have more to tell you, and it's not just my podcast I want to build. I want to build yours. I want all of us. Here we go. Let's bring the mic up. I want all of us as podcasters. We are soldiers. We are soldiers using our voice, and what we can do is we can change what is by saying what we truly feel. What my show is just, if you watch Rogan or anything, it's a little bit like that. So kind of the flow. But what it is I want to talk to everyday people,
Right.
not experts in anything. I want to talk to
Right.
the everyday Joes like me and
Yeah.
you that live life, that have ideas. I want to talk about the things that everyone's thinking about that nobody's talking about. Because I'm a soldier, I can use my voice.
That's what we wanted to do too, is just talk to people who are struggling, healing, health, just everything we can to just experience different things and have different conversations. Like I will
Absolutely.
talk to people from the lowest places on earth to the highest places on earth. Like if you go through my episodes, you can see that. I don't discriminate against anybody in here.
So, and I love it. I really do love what you're doing here, and I love what you're building. And
appreciate
I'm
it.
going to build something great too. And
Oh,
we're gonna
for sure.
we're gonna do this
For sure.
together because we're
Brotherhood.
we're gonna change
Yeah.
again. It ties back to if we're all part of one universal God consciousness, and we all come together as a collective thought. Like here's something. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm trying to.
It's all right.
Trying to keep it because that was one thing I learned about taking criticism from my own thing is that I bounce around a little bit, and it's just my ADHD. I don't mean to. That's why I have notes in front of me to try and
yeah.
You're
and
hard
help
to-
me.
in
Hey,
the right
I have
place,
I have an
man.
outline too. I have notes every episode.
So it's about trying to stay on track because I can definitely get off track.
But sometimes when you get going on something, it could be what somebody needed to hear.
And what I've been told is my whole life is that I convey things in a way that makes sense to people. And I've been asked, "Do you have a podcast? Do you have anything? Do you talk about anything?" And I started with TikToks, like we were talking about. But one thing I've learned is people don't. Our attention spans are small,
The clutter.
and I
Yep.
can't deliver what I want to deliver in a little minute,
Yeah.
2 minute segment.
yeah.
And what I do know is I enjoy listening to people talk. I enjoy listening to people be people
Right.
in their own thoughts because J Bob's Journal is about J Bob's Journal, unconventional thinking, in-depth experiences. Because it's not
Right.
just a conversation. This is
Yeah.
a whole experience. This is a whole. We're creating energy here. We're creating something amazing that's going to change what is. Couple things to talk about before we wrap up. I know we're going to wrap up soon here. Couple quotes, and then I want to continue with my health. What I do in the morning routine. We'll get because ADHD. We go all over. So, take time to value each and every moment of your life before it becomes a memory.
Yeah.
Value those little moments because if there's one thing I've learned since getting older is the time that I slow down and be in this moment right here. Like right now, I'm in this moment right
Yeah.
here. I'm not thinking about past experiences. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen in the future because I don't care.
That's what I do too with these episodes. I'm right here in this, in the episode. We're here talking,
Because the truth is, I don't want to just die old. I want to die finished.
right?
I want to die knowing I completed my purpose on this earth, and my purpose is connecting people, healing people. Like I have so many. Podcasting is just one step on my journey. Music is another step. I eventually have a dream that God has given me that I want to fulfill.
Right.
I want to create a safe space, a healing space for people to come. I think I could heal a lot of people in a weekend.
Yeah.
I could change your mind by certain things I've learned, by certain frequencies and tones and delving into things that we don't understand. And there's nothing dark about anything. It's all about progressing ourselves as a species.
Right.
Because the truth is no one is coming to save you. This is 100%, your life is 100% your responsibility. So I don't want to be like people in the world that blame other people for the problems. I want to take what I have and really...
But people think that they wait for someone to come save them, though.
They wait for someone, and the truth is they always wait for the right things to be in the right way to start anything. Like to me to start writing music, I was like, oh, I need the beats, I need this. Start where you are.
Yeah.
Start where you are and figure it out. Like my podcast, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm learning things here.
It's the same thing we did.
We're talking about amazing things that are going to change the reality of what is.
Right.
So that's just it.
We got about 2 minutes left.
2 minutes. All right. Well, we'll get back to the health thing later. So, but what I want to finish with is, you guys are talking about addictions a lot. Well, I was addicted to alcohol for over a decade. I was stuck. I was living a life that I couldn't go on without a drink. I couldn't imagine functioning without at least a couple shots in me. 'Cause that was a
Right.
vodka guy. That was mine.
I think I remember, like, you know, when me and you were
Yeah.
last time we saw each other. I think we were absolutely plastered.
Absolutely, I don't doubt it. And that whole journey of getting to sobriety started with God. It started with what I talked about earlier. That's where I started, and I felt like, remember I told you I didn't feel like I belonged here. I feel like I didn't belong here because I was still fucking alcoholic.
Right.
I was still drinking, knowing that this isn't right, knowing that my gut was telling me to do something different
Yeah.
with my life.
So with that, what is the ultimate message that you want to leave with with people here today? You know.
What I want to leave you with is, let's change the world together. Let's talk about mental health. Let's be vulnerable in front of each other. Let's be an open book, because if I tell you about my demons, you can tell me about yours,
Right.
and we can fix this together, because as a collective unity, we are going to do something amazing here. And
Definitely.
this is just the start, guys.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
This is just the start.
There is not a better feeling than knowing that at least that's my therapy, is helping people.
Right.
So you can check me out, Spotify, J Bob's Journal, JAYBOB Journal, TikTok, J Bob's Journal. Music, I'm still working on getting that out there. And we're going to be progressing so much more. You can find me on Facebook, Jason Shong, SHONG, and give you a taste of who I am and what I'm about, because I'm going to change what is. I'm going to do this.
For sure. It's awesome.
So thank you
man.
very much for
Yeah,
having me on here.
Definitely. JJ, is there anything else you want to add today?
No, this was absolutely awesome. I'm excited for more.
Exactly. And you know,
It was meant to
like,
be.
my final thought is just don't be afraid of the things you don't understand. We don't have to agree on everything, but we don't have to not get along because we don't agree on everything. We can
Yeah.
have different opinions. We can sit here and have conversations.
Me and you argue all the time.
Right.
man.
People need to stop with the fear.
We can treat each other, but the thing is, get over the fear, but treat each other with love and respect. Because at the end of the
Exactly.
day,
Yes.
that's what matters. Love is the most important thing in our entire existence.
Definitely. So thank you very much for being here today,
Thank you, guys.
Jason. JJ, thank you for being here.
Always, man.
Awesome. And thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Stay safe and make good choices for yourself and those around you.
Thank you,
Do
everyone.
your research.
Boom. We're out.
Boom.